Do you know what makes others think twice before disrespecting you? It's not muscles. It's not money. Nor is it speaking loudly to prove your strength. Ironically, the most respected people are often those who try the least to demand respect from others. It sounds paradoxical, but observe life around you. Those who constantly demand respect are often the ones who receive it the least. Meanwhile, there are people who simply walk into a room, don't say much, don't show much, yet no one dares to disrespect them. So, where's the secret? The secret lies in a simple habit that most people overlook: the ability to maintain their own boundaries without getting angry, over-explaining, or trying to please everyone. Most of us are taught to be kind. That's not wrong. But many people inadvertently turn kindness into complacency. They say yes when they want to say no. They give in when they feel uncomfortable. They remain silent when treated unfairly. They keep giving others one chance, then another, and then yet another. Eventually, they are no longer seen as good people. They are seen as easily exploited. That's a somewhat harsh truth of human psychology. Many people don't treat you based on what you say about yourself. They treat you based on what you allow. Imagine you lend someone money once. They don't pay it back on time. You let it slide. The second time, too. You continue to let it slide. By the fifth time, they still haven't paid and start acting as if you owe them. At that point, many people will wonder why they're being treated this way. The answer isn't easy to hear, but it's often very simple. Because accepted behavior is repeated. People learn very quickly about other people's boundaries. If someone realizes they can cross your boundaries without any consequences, they will continue to do so. This is why Stoics don't try to control others. They control their own reactions. They understand that you can't force someone to be kind, but you can decide what is allowed in your life. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself that dignity doesn't lie in what others think of you. It lies in what you accept from others. That's a huge difference, because many people spend their lives chasing validation, while neglecting something far more important: self-respect. A clear sign of someone with self-respect is that they don't feel the need to explain everything. This is something that surprises many people. Those who are often looked down upon tend to over-explain. They explain why they can't help. They explain why they're busy. They explain why they feel hurt. They explain so much that the listener almost gets a free PowerPoint presentation. Meanwhile, respected people are usually very clear. They say what needs to be said and stop. Not because they're cold. They just understand that a right decision doesn't need much justification. The funny thing is, the more you fear disappointing others, the more likely you are to disappoint yourself. You take on extra work even when you're exhausted. You agree to things you don't want to do. You laugh when you're actually upset. You try to maintain peace at all costs. But that price is often your own peace. And then one day you realize you're living up to everyone's expectations except your own. People who make others think twice before disrespecting them aren't because they're scary. They don't bang on tables and yell. They don't create drama. They don't try to prove their power. What sets them apart is consistency. When they say no, they truly mean no. When someone crosses a line, they react immediately the first time instead of waiting until the 10th time to explode. They understand that an unpleasant conversation today is often much better than resentment that lasts for years. And here's the most interesting part. When you start setting clear boundaries, some people won't like it. They'll say, "You've changed." They'll say you're more unapproachable than before. They'll say you're selfish. But remember one thing. The people who benefit from your lack of boundaries are often the ones who most strongly oppose your boundaries. It's not a coincidence. It's human psychology. In reality, many people confuse being liked with being respected. The two sometimes go together, but not always. A person might be liked by many because they are always agreeable, always yielding, and always willing to sacrifice their own interests for others. But that doesn't mean they are respected. The hard truth is that some people will take advantage of your kindness if you don't set boundaries. Not because they hate you, but because it's convenient for them. People often go as far as they are allowed to go. That's why boundaries don't exist to punish others. They exist to protect you. Interestingly, people with high self-esteem rarely spend time proving it. They don't constantly say they're strong. They don't post power quotes every day. They don't need to announce to the world that they know their worth. Their actions do the work. When something doesn't align with their values, they leave. When someone consistently disrespects them, they create distance. When a relationship becomes toxic, they don't spend years hoping the other person will change. They accept reality and make a decision. That's where many people get stuck. They believe that if they are patient enough, kind enough, or tolerant enough, the other person will eventually change. Sometimes that happens, but many times, the only thing that changes is how exhausted you become. Because you can't build a healthy relationship with someone who doesn't respect boundaries, nor can you make someone appreciate something you yourself don't appreciate. Stoic people understand that not every fight is worth fighting. They don't react to every insult. They don't argue with everyone who disagrees. But don't mistake calmness for weakness. They selectively place their energy. And sometimes the most powerful action isn't retaliation. Rather, it's about refusing to continue giving others access to your life if they consistently abuse it. There's a very interesting paradox. The less dependent you are on the approval of others, the more respected you become. Because then, your decisions are no longer driven by the fear of rejection. You don't say yes just to be liked. You don't stay silent just to avoid conflict. You don't change your values to fit the expectations of others. And people tend to sense that. They realize you have your own standards. They realize you have clear boundaries. And that makes them think twice before treating you badly. Ultimately, the habit of making others think twice before disrespecting you isn't about becoming more aggressive, louder, or more intimidating. It's about learning to respect yourself enough not to accept anything that harms your peace of mind. Because when you truly understand your own worth, you don't need to force others to treat you well. The right people will stay. Those who only want to take advantage will gradually leave. And perhaps the most thought-provoking question is, if you start setting clear boundaries today, who in your life will respect them, and who will feel resentful because they no longer benefit from your constant concessions?